For Quantapalooza, I am Dr. J. Justin Lake. Thank you for the latest podcast from the Quantapalooza research team. Also, please refer to our research papers, which come out monthly, because they are very important, not only works in research, but for you to pressure test and push back on our assumptions, because this is a very mutual relationship that we have with you, our amazing supporters. And that is really driven by pushing back on assumptions, the scientific method, um, the parameters, and really the levers that we want to give back to the people. It is essentially important to Quantapalooza that we affirm that we're here to make it as brand agnostic as possible and really to unlock for the 8.12 billion people on the earth how to leverage AI on one side of the spectrum, quantum computing on the other, and in the middle ground being robotics and edge hardware. Now, as I shared and we shared in our latest post, we're going to be a little bit blunt today. And it's very important for the Quantapalooza team, which has 30,000 YouTube subscribers since we launched 2 months ago, that we're accountable to you because we are nothing without your support, your time, your bandwidth, your thought space. So it's not so much that any opinion not backed by our research is wrong, quite the opposite. We thrive on being challenged, tested, peer reviewed, but we also have a deeper concern that we're going to be a little bit more blunt about, which are those in social media who are not informed, who didn't put in the legwork, not the research, not the training, which, by the way, for many of the 8.13 billion people, you can still do on your phone, even if it's a $10 Android phone. We're going to be a little bit blunt because those forces and narratives in social media are creating a disservice. So, first off, again, your goal as our members of Quantapalooza is to challenge me, challenge the Quantapalooza team, call us out. If you feel we're being unfair, use the comments, forward your posts, and we will honor that. We encourage that, and honestly, we need that. But for those of you who are taking a 30-minute AI class once a year and then are then using it for gig alerts or for your own private business interests in alumni associations, or for those of you who are teaching in academia, who are shaping young minds, who are paying tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to you, we're going to call you out. And I'm deeply concerned, as is the Quantapalooza team, of recent posts from those in alumni associations, in academia in the Pacific Northwest, in local businesses who have done no research, who could in no way code or interact with AI or quantum or robotics, giving direct career positions to you, our supporters on the street. It's unacceptable for, especially in folks like myself who have the luxury of living in a first world nation, to just be pontificating without any evidence, no scientific method, and especially to do things like steering people in artificial intelligence or quantum computing where they have no material expertise. So let's get some real examples. There are multiple alumni associations in the western part of the United States. There are those in B corporations in the western United States. There are those in Fortune 100 companies in the western United States who somehow use a 30-minute certificate to steer people that AI is bad or good, or quantum doesn't work or does not work. Here are the realities that you should consider that are brand agnostic and, quite honestly, are Quantapalooza agnostic. The results that you get from interacting with AI on one side of the house, or the data you get from feeding into quantum computing on the other side of the house, or the middle ground of robotics and edge hardware, is only as good as the metadata that you fill in. And the reality is, for the last 4,000 years, for right or for wrong, human history has been written by the winning side. So for those folks to dismiss AI or quantum or robotics because quote unquote they're hallucinations, our first ask of you in Quantapalooza is look into the mirror. Like, what have you been doing as an alumni association or in a B Corp or in a Fortune 100 company to actually sanitize and improve data? And the hashtag is you've done nothing. The other area that's very important, which these imposters are trying to sell it to you, is that somehow if you join their organization or you follow them or if you honor their gig alerts, that they're somehow helping you. They're not at all. They're purely doing this because they're trying to somehow surf the changing of time and create some brand for themselves, which, while is not anything wrong on a personal level, when you're talking about how people view technology and how they have options and levers, is completely unacceptable. And in our opinion, shameful. Here are the real brand agnostic levers that you have. First off, with artificial intelligence, remember, AI is a robot that is basically using all of written history so far. We've talked about previous podcasts on visual, multi-chemical sensory, multi-filling dimensional, but right now it's basically written work. So before those quote unquote experts with a 30-minute degree steer you in a different direction, understand that human history has been slanted basically since humans beat Neanderthals. Now, that does not dismiss the importance of really up-leveling and peer reviewing and democratizing data. In fact, it triples down that fact. But for those quote unquote experts to tell you that they have somehow cracked the code is laughable, if not shameful. What you should do, all of you, are 30,000 subscribers, and I'm told it's not that far from now that we'll be 50,000 subscribers, and then we'll keep on doubling and tripling and quadrupling the subscribers. Is that your job is to pressure test the answers, but not because some other person, quote unquote, claims expertise. Like anyone who knows me knows in Quantapalooza, as one of the members of the board of Quantapalooza, I never claim to be an expert because my field changes every 7 business days. But what I do have a great concern for is the disservice of those who have personal business interests that are somehow cloaking it under their quote unquote research. It's shameful, their quote unquote gig alerts. It's shameful, unacceptable, and really it needs to be called out publicly. The other area that we want to continue to champion with Quantapalooza is quantum computing is here. And again, for those of you who may be watching this podcast for the first time, who haven't seen the previous 9 or so, quantum computing amplifies the archaic but elegant computing Moore's law way of yes, no, one zeros. Because the superposition of maybe is not just a third dimension, it amplifies it in exponential or like quantum levels of ways. Now, for those of you in theoretical quantum physicists or quantum computing programming or anywhere in the first cousins of the families, I can feel the laser beams shooting through my body. I can hear the emails and the comments, but you know what I'm talking about, that regardless of the levers that quantum offers, if it is not done in a way that a mom and dad bakery in Central Africa can leverage, we've failed humanity. So you know what I'm talking about. Please don't be disingenuous. It's very important in Quantapalooza that we call out the behaviors that we need to see. The third vector that's very important is how does it mean for your career growth, your generational wealth growth? How does it mean for you to have breathing room? The fundamental question that all of you had to ask is if you could partner with a robot that had the knowledge of humanity, but not the humanity of humanity, What questions could that robot offer you to move the needle that a normal human can't? And in talking to tens of thousands of people in Quantapalooza, there are many use cases. So I'm not here to sway you yay or nay, or I'm not here to try to sell you anything, nor is Quantapalooza, but it is a very valid point that you should really deeply pressure test the areas that you can't solve today working with people, and then bring it back to the people. There are many amazing, thoughtful, exciting, intense, realistic end of days movies. In Quantapalooza, we have every religion, faith, agnostic, every continent, including I'm told in Antarctica when it's seasonably possible, which is by the way on my bucket list. But our point is not to sway you into a direction. But if you look at the common Venn diagram, there is this understanding of a deeper thought space, a deeper consciousness. And what we in Quantapalooza try to do with our research papers that are published, and our podcasts, and our outreach, and our meetings with global leaders, is that we want to democratize levers to you. Because in the end, this is a true inflection point in the human narrative, which is as our population grows, and our planet is not growing in size, right? So as our population grows, what can we really do to improve not just the quality of life, but to improve the opportunities that anyone who learns skills, wants to share their voice, wants to operationalize the future, and yes, wants to make a lot of money. And I'm a Buddhist. Even as a Buddhist, I'm like, yes, if I have a lot of assets, I can create jobs, I can get stuff done. Those are the things that are important. Now, to close, I'm sure that there are going to be those in alumni associations or B corporations or corporations who are going to say, Justin, you're being unfair, or you're being, Quantapalooza is not being consistent. And that's fair. Like, you should have a right in a venue to challenge what we're saying, same way that we pressure test you for basically pontificating BS. So we embrace the symbiotic relationship. But I'll say this much. If the way that you're swaying people is based on topics that you don't know, our position is in Quantapalooza, shame on you. If you're actually democratizing and sharing ideas with humanity that you're an expert in, we say thank you. And if that in itself is not enough reason to follow Quantapalooza, coach us up in the comments as we keep on eclipsing more subscribers, and we will raise our game. Until next time, I'm Dr. J. Justin Locke reporting live from the Quantapalooza headquarters in the Silicon Forest, which also includes seasonally Antarctica. Until next time, we'll meet again. Keep moving forward and keep putting a dent in the universe. Cheers.